What up, Internet? This is Eugene from Worker Bee Supply, and we're back with another freelance tip for you this week. Today we're going to be talking about what, for me, is the most important thing to master for your success as a freelancer. Now, I went through 4 years of university studying photography and media, and this wasn't brought up a single time, and I would say your success as a freelancer depends on this one rule more than anything else. And it's really simple, it doesn't cost you anything, and it'll make you stand out in front of your clients and get hired again and again and again. And this one simple rule is under-promise and over-deliver. This sounds really simple, but very few people actually take it to heart, and even fewer people still really build it into the machinery and workings of their business, their freelance practice, and their life as a whole. But those people who do take it to heart will go so much further, much faster. So let's dive into it, take it apart, and then see how practically you can under-promise and over-deliver in your own business. So let's break apart what's gonna make you successful as a freelancer. First of all, is gonna be getting clients to hire you again and again and again. Now, it sounds fun trying to get new clients all the time, but this is very time consuming and very expensive. It's much more pleasant when you can develop a working relationship with the client and you both know exactly what you bring to the table, and essentially they just hire you again and again because they like what you're doing. So that is one step to being successful as a freelancer. The next thing is getting clients to recommend you to other people in a positive way. This kind of drives more clients into your pipeline, and it also, those clients come with a much bigger recommendation, like a personal recommendation, unlike a cold call or just like a Facebook group list that someone sends them. So one, you want to get your clients hiring you again and again, and two, you want to get your existing clients to recommend you to their clients. And the way to do this is by under-promising and over-delivering. Here's what I mean. In order for clients to hire you again and again, they need to be really happy with the services you provide them. So how do you make people happy? How do you make yourself happy in work, but also in life in general? Happiness comes from having reality exceed your expectations. Think of it this way, when you get a lot of hype for a movie you're excited about, right? You build expectation of what it'll be like. And when you finally see that movie, sometimes it meets those expectations and you think, oh, that was a pretty good movie. It's kind of what I thought it would be. Sometimes it falls far below those expectations and you're like, wow, that was a really bad movie. I thought it was gonna be this awesome film and it was terrible. And then sometimes you have very low expectations for a film you're going to see. You know, you might not even know what the movie is about, and then you end up watching this incredible film and you go, wow, that really blew me away. I love that movie. And that's because it far exceeded the expectations you had set for yourself. The same thing is true for work. You know, when you tell a client you're gonna do some work for them, that creates certain expectations in their mind. So when you come back to them and you exceed those expectations, they get really happy and they're like, wow, I'm getting a lot of value. I should recommend this person, they're a hard worker. When it meets those expectations, they go, okay, that was worth it. That was pretty good working with them, you know? I could use someone else, but I'll probably use them again. The danger is when you set your clients' expectations very high ahead of time and then fail to live up to those expectations. That's when your client kind of gets bummed out. They thought you were going to do this great job, you know, they saw your portfolio, you sold it to them in your meetings with them, and then all of a sudden they get the final images or files or whatever it may be, and they're sort of like, whoa, what is this? Like, this is nowhere close to what I thought it was going to be like. And those clients won't recommend you to people and they won't hire you again. Getting that balance is key. So how do you do this? You can under-promise and over-deliver at every stage of your interaction with a client. And the goal is to build this into your systems. So it takes a while to get really thinking in that way and finding opportunities to under-promise and over-deliver. But as you practice and you become conscious of it and you do it more and more and more, over time, it'll become very natural and you will catch yourself in kind of like every single touch point trying to under-promise and over-deliver. So let's start with communication. When you're talking to clients, a lot of people try to hype them up, and I would be cautious about doing this. Make sure you kind of temper their expectations of everything, you know? A lot of times when you're doing creative work, it is very much based on the budget available. So it could be a totally sliding scale in terms of the quality work that a client gets. So keeping their expectations realistic and grounded rather than selling them, you know, the moon is very important, because down the line, that means it'll be easier for you to exceed those expectations. Even small things like your email reply times. I've been working really hard on this myself to just get whatever response possible back to people. We're on sets a lot, we're shooting. It's not always realistic to be like spending time on email when you're working for another client. But even to shoot a quick message and say, hey, I got this, I'll reply to you in a couple days, that is already over-delivering on their expectation of you, right? Because they see that you're a busy person and well, even you have time to immediately reply to them. This is not always possible, but it's highly recommended. And similarly, when you give people deadlines, like you give yourself deadlines, like, oh, I'm gonna get back to you in this many days, or I'll get you the template or the first pass in this many days. Give yourself some buffer room, okay? So don't try to figure out, oh, what's the fastest way I can do this? That's the date you give your client. Add an extra day or two on top of that. And then if you can, you will be able to get them that project earlier. And when they get that project earlier, then boom, they're happy, they're excited, you're over-delivering on their expectations. If for whatever reason that project ends up taking longer and you need those extra days, then you still haven't come in below their expectations because you've delivered the project on time. The worst possible situation is when you tell a client like, oh, I'm gonna get this to you tomorrow, and then something comes up, another project comes in, you have to take off from the office for an emergency, and you have to get it to them 2 or 3 days later. Now you're under-delivering on their expectations, which you never want to be doing. Similar thing for us is kind of being kind on set, So when we do shoots, we say like, oh, it's like a full day is this many hours, if you go over, it costs this much. But you don't have to be so picky, especially if you're working with people frequently. Just be pleasant. So, if you say, oh, a half-day shoot is like 4 hours and it takes 5 hours, don't charge them for that extra hour, Sure, if it's going over by a lot, you should charge your client. But doing something like that just shows them you have their best interests in mind and you're not trying to sort of penny pinch your way into their wallets. So really figuring out kind of how you can promise them certain things and then create opportunities for yourself to over-deliver on those promises. Same thing with final deliverables. One thing we often do is give clients the number of final shots they will get ahead of time. So say, oh, for this project, you will get 10 final images. And then we try, whenever possible, to go over that and give them additional images. It might even be 15 images. It might be, if there's 20 good images that we really love and they don't take a lot of posts, we'll include all of them and not charge extra because we want our clients to be really happy and excited. And one way to over-deliver is by giving them a few more assets than you originally scoped out or quoted for when possible. Giving them an extra revision when possible. Now, of course, you have to be reasonable and some clients will try to take advantage of this, and these are bad clients, as we discussed before. So you want to weed those out, and this is a great way to find those bad clients out. But I find that most people who you have a continuous relationship with, they will become very, very appreciative. And that is the story they will pass on. They'll pass on the story in their lunches with coworkers, people who see them doing shoots and stuff like that with you or working on creative projects with you. Now the narrative will be like, wow, this person, they reply to me so fast. I asked for 10 files, they gave me 20 to choose from or 15 to choose from. We had agreed on 2 revisions and they didn't mind doing a last-minute revision quickly. They said it would take 2 weeks and it took only 10 days or something like that. That is the story you want your clients spreading. That's what will get you hired again, and that's what will get them to recommend you to other people and get those people to hire you. Because there's a lot of people who can do good creative work, but unfortunately there's not a lot of people that are very pleasant to work with and make it easy for their clients. At the end of the day, that's what we're all looking for, someone to make our job easier. We don't want the people we hire to make our lives harder. We want them to solve problems for us. And what's even better than solving the problem you have is thinking a few steps beyond that and making that whole interaction and engagement easier for your clients. I guarantee you, if you do this one thing and you weave it in through all aspects of your business, you will be successful. All right? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any follow-up questions, you want to throw out some specific scenarios and get my opinion on how you can underpromise and overdeliver, please, please, please leave a comment in the message below and we'll get back to you right away. I hope you're enjoying the series. Please subscribe, hit that like button. We're releasing these videos every single week. If you have a thing you're struggling with, let us know and we'll cover it in a future episode. All right? Really appreciate it. You should connect with us on Instagram at WorkerBeeSupply, where we're sharing a journey every single day, and we'll see you here next week. Peace.